In this screencast, we're going to look at some of the interesting apps that are available for creating visually interesting things, interactives, graphics. Okay, let's have a look at Piclets first. It's very, very simple. You just grab some words and you drop them on. Beautifully saw. Okay, you can choose different photos and you can throw words in. You can also change to freestyle mode. So you can just type straight in. Let's choose a photo here. And right, stress. So it's a really simple way of creating images with a bit of text on. Let's look at Wordle now. So it says just paste in a bunch of text, and I've just gone and typed in a whole lot of things that relate to families. I'm going to remove that URL, but you can certainly paste in the URL as well. And I'll just hit go, and let's see what it does. Waiting for Java to do its thing. As you can see, I'm working on a Mac at the moment, so you'll need to have your Java updated, and then you can randomize it. It just starts to do unusual things with the text. And you can go through and you can create all the different types of layout options. Let's move over to Dippity and TimeToast now, a couple of interactive timeline generators. So there's an interesting one here which is all about the phone hacking scandal. You can see how this would be a great tool for setting a project if you wanted people to understand how something evolves over time, or you want them to show. It's a good one for people to collaborate on. So at the moment this is loading up, and we can see once it loads up, there's a couple of different ways of looking at it. You've got the timeline view, which is basically just a side-scrolling timeline. You can zoom in and out to make it appear all on one page or not. You can add images, videos. You can change it into a flipbook style. So just a variation on presenting. But of course, because it's interactive, you can make it. You can put it into LMS. That's a way of creating something different. This is the same idea, but just visually slightly different. Next, move on to Pixlr and PsychoPaint. Okay, so Pixlr has three different ways of going in. I'll show you the advanced version first, because if you've ever looked at Photoshop, you'll see that it's very, very similar to Photoshop in terms of its toolbox over here. If I go back and we'll have a look at the simple one now, let's say efficient, you can see that it opens up in a different URL, and maybe I want to browse for an image, .jpg. I'll open this one, see what it is. Oh, okay, that's an interesting image. And then we can start to add text. And we can overlay that and move it around. So that's an interesting little image generator. PsychoPaint is great. If you found an image that you want to use, but you know it's copyright protected, then you can use PsychoPaint to create your own version of it. You can crop it differently, flip it over, and then just paint over the top, and then you've got basically your version of it. You do have to be a bit careful because some images are definitely copyright protected, but this is a way to create your own material from existing work. So it's a bit like a mashup, I guess. You can explore what people have done, and we'll do that just now so that you can get an idea of how it works. So here's, say, a picture of Noel Fielding. He's a comedian, and someone's just painted over the top of that photo, and it's created this really painterly looking image. Let's go back to the gallery. Just an interesting way to represent a hand. And let's look at the painting tools now. This is really quite fun as well, so you can create really visually interesting things. Paint your own or pick an image. Let's pick an image. Let's choose this one. I like it about this big. And now I'm going to paint. So here it is now. It's an image to start with, but you can see I can choose these different interesting presets. It shows me what the paint style will do. Let's choose Surat. And now I can choose the size or the type of brush. And then I can just paint over this image. Yep. Just choose that. There's going to be some things that will help you Alright, so maybe this isn't a great example, but you've got to really play with these things for a little to find out the best fit for you. Moving on to Autodesk. This is a really interesting little suite of applications. They're all based on either the iPad or the iPhone or in the browser. So 123D Catch is the first one that I'd like to show you. And essentially what you do is you find an object and you take as many photos of it as you can from different angles. So you'd move around the image, then you'd slightly move up and you'd try and photograph the top of the image if you can. You submit all those images to the website and it does something called photogrammetry and it returns a 3D model. So it's just a way of creating a very interesting digital artifact. If you're trying to explain something or you wanted to show off a piece of, an object that you were discussing, creating a 3D all around image of it might be an interesting diversion, an interesting different point of difference. And also have a look at the Chrome Web Store. So there's literally thousands of apps in here.